Screen print transfers can be exciting, from being able to take your idea from imagination to the real world just by receiving your transfers in the mail. Placing your graphics on a garment or t-shirt can be a point of anxiety for beginners and even some pros. We've all had a time where we peel the transfer and hold up the shirt only to find out that the print is crooked or even worse, upside down. In this video, we will be showing you some of the most effective, affordable, and easiest ways to place and apply your screen print transfers from AMS Transfers. First, let's go over the tools that we will be using to place our screen print transfers on our t-shirt. We will be using a 16 by 20 auto open heat press, heat resistant tape. This is the Cricut version that fits inside of a standard Scotch tape dispenser, as well as a t-shirt alignment square. You can get these on Amazon, and I will have a couple links below. First, we're going to go ahead and get started with the t-shirt alignment square. This is going to be great for beginners just getting into screen print or heat transfers. It is cost effective and easy to use, and is great for getting started, but can be ditched later and start doing it by eye. Make sure when using the t-shirt alignment square that you are aligning the design to the garment or t-shirt rather than the transfer paper itself, as sometimes the transfer paper is not perfectly cut and you will have some problems with crooked or misprints. Once we have aligned, go ahead and put a few pieces of that heat resistant tape to make sure that your design doesn't shift when we move the heat press or move the t-shirt to the heat press. And then once you have your transfer applied to the tee, go ahead and grab your tee by the shoulders and place your garment onto the heat press, but of course being careful not to burn yourself in the process on the top of the heat press. When placing the garment on the heat press, since we use the table method, we are able to place the shirt rather carelessly on the pallet, so long as the entire design area is covered, since we know that our graphic will end up in the right place from the step before. One thing you're going to want to make sure of is that the collar and seams of the shirt are not interfering with the press and completely out of the way. You're going to want your garment to be as flat as possible. Go ahead and peel the transfer, exposing your garment, and now we have a chance to check how accurate we were. On the left side, taking out our ruler, we can see that we are about 5.5 inches away from the sleeve seam, and on the right side, it's looking like we are about 5.75 inches away from the sleeve seam, so on this we got pretty close to perfect. Once you have the t-shirt alignment square pretty figured out and you have a couple under your belt, the next step is going to be doing the transfers by eye only. Now, you can of course use your t-shirt square to make sure that everything is nice and aligned, but I think once you guys get a few under your belt, you'll understand that you really don't need it and you can do things by eye and get things pretty close. Now, on this design, we can see that the paper is cut just a little bit off with the print leaning more towards the left side of the paper. Just make sure that you are aligning the design to the garment rather than the paper itself. Now, full chest designs are typically 2.5 to 4 inches down from the neck of the t-shirt, which also happens to be about 3 or 4 fingers. But for the backs, we usually want to go ahead and make sure that it is below the collar on the front of the shirt. So go ahead and feel around for the collar and make sure that the transfer is low enough on the tee, and then use your eyes to judge, making sure that the transfer is centered on the tee. Once complete, go ahead and tape down the transfer and move the tee to the press, grabbing by the shoulders like we did on the last one. And this allows for easier operation if you might have 2 or more people helping you. That way you aren't wasting time using one of your most valuable assets, the heat press, aligning and positioning the transfer on the heat press. You can load the transfer on the tee on the table next to you and then move it to the press for heating. Once complete, unload and repeat. This can really make producing your orders move fast, quickly, and most importantly, accurately. This is also true if you're working by yourself, as if you are quick, you can use the time that the transfer is getting pressed onto the tee to prepare your next garment. Again, I cannot stress enough how being able to maximize the efficiency of your heat press is so important. You want to make sure that that heat press is working every single minute you are working to not only maximize your profit and your return, to make sure that you are using everything to its fullest potential. You can order custom screen print transfers using our website, amstransfers.com. We are currently accepting new clients and new orders. If you found this video to be helpful, please subscribe and like on YouTube and follow us on social media at @ChooseAMS.